Hello, welcome to the Happiness Contribution Show. I'm your host, Rosaria Cirillo, a little Italian ball of energy, enthusiasm, and passion, living in the Netherlands since 19 years, almost 20 now, with my Dutch husband and 2 boys. Having spent 20 years in customer experience roles, I'm a certified customer experience professional, happiness trainer, and laughter yoga teacher. And in the Happiness Contribution Show, we are going to share knowledge and practices about what contributes to our happiness and how we can contribute to others' happiness as individuals and as business leaders. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of interviewing Sandrina Bencomo, the co-founder of the wellness-focused nonprofit organization My Care Village, and a national board certified health and wellness coach, and also certified integrative nutrition health coach with recovery coaching training. Sandrina is also a fashion model, passionate about nature, sustainability, wellness, mindfulness, travel, and photography. And without spoiling it further for you, just let me go ahead and introduce you to Sandrina Bencomo. Good afternoon or good morning for you in US.
Yeah, good morning. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you, Sandrina. So let's kick off right away with who is Sandrina? Tell us about you. Who is Sandrina as a human being and how do you nurture happiness?
Who am I as a human being? Well, I am Venezuela. I was born and raised in Venezuela. I've been in New York for 17 years, and I've also lived all over the world. I've had that pleasure, I must say, because I do love traveling and experiencing different cultures. And I've been in the fashion industry for over 20 years and in the wellness industry for 6 years now. I am very passionate about the environment, nature, trying to improve the world through sustainability, through wellness, definitely through helping people become happier. So we have that in common. I'm passionate about photography and travel, and I feel like my daily efforts are just really trying to make a difference. I do believe that if your actions are about making a difference, if you want to see a difference, you have to start with yourself. So I really follow that philosophy every day. With everything from trying to not overuse water to only eating plants and plant-based, because not just because of animal cruelty and because of health, but also because I know that it is the most sustainable thing to do for the environment. To trying to not create waste and supporting brands that are trying to make a difference, through all natural, organic, fair trade practices. For me, it's all about trying to be good, trying to be the best person that I can be every day. And I might not be like perfect right now, but every day I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to better myself. And my passion is to help people do the same, right? So people come to me with their wellness goals, with whatever they want to achieve for their wellness, for their life, whether it is connected to, depression or anxiety or stress or sleep disorders, or maybe it's digestion or skin conditions, wanting to manage their weight, whatever it might be. Definitely my mission is to support them, to help them go from point A to point B, and just empower them to achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve in their lives.
Nice. It sounds indeed like we have more things in common, like not only the purpose that we have, but also like the passion for photography and traveling. You might not know that about me, but I'm also quite passionate about that. So I'm curious, what is your definition of happiness? It sounds a lot like wellness, but please tell us, what is your definition?
Yeah, I think my definition of happiness is balance, harmony, just accepting what you currently have, and being okay with that. Definitely peace, just being at peace and being able to enjoy what's going on in the moment, being present, being mindful of what's going on in the moment, and not having And I feel like this is very relevant to these days. Most people have this anxiety with regards to like wanting something else, right? Like, I want to make more money. I want to like be more successful. I want, this promotion, whatever it is, right? And that's all wonderful. That's all great. It's great to have goals in life. But the balance of that is being able to have those goals while being happy with what you have right now, while being able to stay present in the now and accept what you have right now and make the most of that. So not always being in the like, when I get this promotion or when I get this car, when I get this house, then I'll be happy. Because that leads to people never being able to achieve full happiness.
It sounds almost like when you mentioned in the order in which you mentioned the elements, I don't know why suddenly the idea of Buddhism came to my mind for me, actually. Is it almost like a Buddhist vision of like this acceptance, or has nothing to do with it at all?
Actually, no, it is a very good point. So I am not religious. I was raised Catholic, but I abandoned that a long time ago. So I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. So I do believe in meditation, mindfulness, and I guess that's very much aligned with Buddhism. And I do admire a lot of their concepts and their mentality. So I guess it is related to that.
Because on that one as well, we are very similar. Like, I was also raised Catholic, and I can say I would still say I'm still Catholic at the heart. I still believe. And the more I learn about happiness, the more, though, a lot of concepts bring me to Buddhism, and also what I've learned during my travel in Bhutan. But I'm like, and I've been also asking myself, like, does this make me Buddhist, or can we is there just a commonality between the religions and the spirituality? And now we just strive to be the best we can while be present in the now. So
totally, you're right on. The more I study, like, mindfulness and meditation and so much about like spiritual wellness, the more aligned it is with Buddhism for sure. So there's definitely a connection there. But I think, that, in my opinion, it is the most spiritual religion out there. So I think that might be why, right? But yeah, a lot of their concepts are pretty wonderful, very much related to happiness. For sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you're originally from Venezuela. You are now a certified health and wellness coach, and you are a fashion model. That's quite a combination there. Can you elaborate a bit more on the connection between those three elements, and if in some way it impacted who you are now and the change that you want to bring in the world?
Yeah, I guess, for me, I was raised in the fashion industry. It is the reason why I started traveling, and the reason why I lived all over the world, and the reason why I've been living in New York for 17 years. So I'm very grateful to that. It brought me to New York. But I would say, just being in that industry, and, which is so much about obviously how you look and staying in shape and a certain weight and taking care of your skin and your hair and like all of these things, and that combined with the fact that I had many symptoms myself that I couldn't explain, and went to all kinds of doctors and specialists, and I couldn't get any answers. And fortunately, they just said, oh, your blood work is fine, everything is fine, and that's it. But I was like, okay, but why do I have migraines, and why do I have eczema, and why do I have rosacea and digestive issues, and why do I faint sometimes? All of these symptoms. I'm very stubborn, or as I like to say, persistent. So for me, it was like, no, there has to be a reason for all of these things. So I kept digging, and at that time I was also searching for more purpose, even though I'm very grateful to modeling in the fashion industry, it wasn't fulfilling me anymore to the level that I wanted to. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to have a real impact. And that's when I study integrative nutrition and health. And it was really a very transformative experience for me. I was able to heal all of my symptoms while studying 100 different dietary theories and allergies and wellness and integrated nutrition, a whole range. I stopped having migraines. I stopped fainting. I stopped having digestive issues. I was able to heal my eczema, my rosacea. So this life transformation of seeing there is a better way, like you don't have to have all those symptoms. Yeah.
And what were the changes that you put in place then in order to almost like heal yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I discovered that I was lactose intolerant and gluten intolerant. So taking control over that, like having that awareness of what foods I'm intolerant to or have allergies to, which, by the way, most people have some kind of intolerance that they're not aware of. So it's important to dig into that, to, you know, work with a professional, with a wellness coach to, or nutritionist to get to that. I also stopped eating processed foods and, you know, refined sugars, and kind of just shifted to a more whole food type of diet. So non-processed foods, just basically eating foods that are as close to nature as possible, more vegetables, more leafy greens. And I stopped eating animal products as well. So I just went fully plant-based. But, you know, I feel like nutrition was definitely huge, but it was also a mindset. I also started meditating and doing breathing exercises, and gratitude exercises, and, you know, working out more. It's just like having full on awareness with regards to everything that I consume, not just food, but everything off the plate. That's what we call integrated nutrition. We are not
really everything that comes in, not only food or drinks, but almost words, thoughts, really everything that
we call
influences.
it primary foods and secondary foods. So secondary foods are actually everything that feeds you from the plate. Even though it's highly important, it's actually less important than our primary foods, which is everything that feeds you away from the plate, right? Like relationships, your career, your spirituality, your
is that what you call secondary food? I never heard that expression before. So like primary food is what you actually eat or drink, and secondary food, everything else?
So primary foods, actually, it's everything else. So careers, relationships. Yeah. So, you know, it's kind of like, let's put it this way. Let's say that sometimes, you know, you gain weight, right? And, you know, people think, oh, it's just about the food, right? If I just like go on a diet, that'll be it, right? But then if you dig into what's happening with their relationships, for example, it might be that they're going through a really hard time in their relationship, they're unhappy, they're highly stressed, and that is causing them to want to eat certain foods to kind of like please themselves and soothe themselves, which then leads to gaining weight. So everything is interconnected. It's not just one thing. So integrated nutrition and health is understanding that everything that we consume has an impact on our health, from social media to news, to the movies that we watch, the people that we spend time with. So yeah, it was really a whole life transformation for me.
Yeah, again, it's lovely. Like we know each other, but not enough. And I'm like, the more you're sharing, is also the more I see so many actually parallel lines from the migraines and also the stubbornness of really trying to find out and understand it. And one thing that also really flabbergasted me is also how much little attention we put to the soaps that we used. And a lot of also there is so much chemicals in the soaps, the perfumes, and everything that we use, and all of those products. And it's like, for me, it's like all sodium lauryl sulfate and all of those chemicals. And also there, I've been trying to get rid of them already for years. But now, just most recently, I had my son having all sorts of problems with his hands, and we thought, you know, it's COVID, it's been disinfectant. And then suddenly now, after the holidays, we discovered actually it's the soap they're using at school, because it was fine over the Christmas holiday, and now suddenly it's appearing again. But it's like, this is when it becomes really visible. But what about when it's not visible on the outside? And there it causes. So is that also something that you look at in your work, or that's more then becomes the space more of a doctor, where I'm like, see, also there, surprising, the doctors don't even go there. Eh? It's really like, it's only when it becomes illness that they really look at it.
Yeah. So actually, before I get there, that was a major change that I made too. I eliminated all the chemicals and fragrances, all the toxic products in my home, in my skincare, hair care, makeup, everything. And I went all natural and organic. So I definitely recommend that to everyone. And when my clients are interested in that, I do coach them to pursue that path. And it makes a huge difference on skin health and overall well-being. But, with regards to what I coach clients to do, I mean, it's all client focused. It's all client led, right? So people can only pursue what they have the motivation to achieve. Right? So if there's something that they're not seeing, right, they most likely will not have that interest, right? Like if it's very abstract, like I just want to be healthier, most of the time, unless they're having something specific, they would not want to spend the time to, go through coaching and to get there. So it tends to be more specific, like them coming in and saying, I want to lose weight, or
story of a client transformation that you have seen happening thanks to health coaching that you can share with us, and share with us what were the ingredients and what have been the outcomes.
I mean, honestly, there are so many. So I feel like it depends on what kind of category you're interested in. I've had, and I think what's relevant through COVID is, clients that come with, depression because of everything that's been going on with the pandemic. And basically they came in, they were, unemployed because of everything happening with COVID. They were depressed, they were isolated, they weren't having any relationships, right? And I say they because I have to keep it anonymous. And, just through coaching, transforming their life to, having full-time job, right? Feeling successful, feeling confident, getting into a relationship. And then for the first time saying, I'm actually happy. Like this is a wonderful story because I have a client that has experienced depression for her whole life, basically. And, we coached for about a year, where it was really beautiful because with coaching, it's like going through the layers, right? Once you reach one goal, then you can reach another one and another one and another one. So it becomes like a flower that just flourishes. And, after about a year of like feeling like she had a good job, she was now financially stable in a relationship, and also having like friendships, like all of these things were new to her, right? She said to me, like, I now understand what it means to be happy. Mm-hmm. I never knew what this was all about. I never knew that was possible. I was always feeling depressed, but like for the first time in my life, I now know what it's like to be happy. And that to me, it's just, wonderful. There's just so much evidence that I've experienced, and also like studies have shown that too. But when people are properly supported, when people have a hand to hold and guidance and, wellness education, they can achieve whatever they want. It's just that unfortunately we have a society that is not providing that right now. So that's what we do as Care Village.
Yeah. That is, it's when I think about it, it misses in our education, because we don't get the education as we grow up. Then the doctors are not prepared to give it to you later unless you're really sick. But there seems to be this gap in between about how can we make sure that we create the condition to flourish and to teach people, indeed, to create awareness. You spoke so often about awareness of what makes us happy, or what drives our happiness. And that's
that gap that you just mentioned, that is what wellness coaches are meant to fill. And that is what My Care Village is meant
and that's where I was going to go also with the question. That's a bit what you try to do now in a structured way with My Care Village, which you founded last year. Can you tell us a bit more about what My Care Village, and indeed what does it do and which gap does it fill? and how?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, we find that people, especially women, are not properly supported. They're not getting the resources they need to thrive. And we strongly believe that if we want to have a better world and kinder people, and if we want to lift society, we need to start with removing those barriers that currently exist to being healthy, right? The average person doesn't have the means to hire a health coach or a personal trainer or even go to therapy or a naturopathic doctor. These things tend to not be included by insurance. And a lot of people, let alone don't have insurance, right? So if people are not being supported to feel good, to not be in pain, to not be struggling or feeling depressed every day, how could we expect them to be kind, good, productive members of society? So we strongly believe that if we lift people, especially women, which have been strongly hit by the pandemic, we can have a better society, and that can lead to a better, kinder, happier world. And the way that we do that is by providing virtual wellness services. So virtual meaning it removes those physical barriers that currently exist, right? So people don't have to commute somewhere or worry about wearing a mask or about, getting COVID, or even just spending the time, right? That hour that it might take to go there and come back. A lot of people do not have that extra time. And we remove the financial barrier by making those services free of charge to clients. So basically what that does is that it provides a village of support for each client. They get nutrition coaching, wellness coaching. They have access to a clinical psychologist, to a naturopathic doctor, to a personal trainer, to mindfulness session. They basically get all the support they need to bridge that gap between, when they don't feel so good to when they go to the doctor. So it's basically the supplement to elevate healthcare for each individual.
And then they learn to take care of themselves later. So if people would want to access My Care services, what can they do? Can they go directly, or would they have to go to their employer? How does that work today?
Yeah, so today they can go to mycarevillage.org. So what we do is that we have different sources, right? So it's either covered through their insurance, through their employer, or if they don't have access to our services through those different avenues, we still take care of them through our donations.
Okay.
So we take donations from anyone that is interested in supporting our cause, and that money goes to supporting people that don't have access to these services so that they can access them free of charge.
And is it now only US, or do you support also other countries?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we do focus on the US nationwide. However, we do have some clients that are outside of the country. So, and because it's virtual, as long as people don't mind with the time difference, we basically just want to support as many people as possible. So if there are people that are out of the US and want to access our services, that's also available to them.
Nice, thank you. And Sandrina, back to what makes you happy and how you make other people happy. I want to share with you, you probably have seen this already, is the model that we use, the sunflower happiness, of the 9 elements, which really are the ways in which we as individuals can contribute to our own happiness, but we can also bring more happiness in the world. And it's also the way that we explored in Yellow Goldfish about how company can add the little extra to create more happiness into the world. So I'm curious to hear which of those elements is the one that contributes the most to your happiness, and which one is the element that you prefer to contribute to other people's happiness.
Yeah, first of all, I must say I love this. I think it's so right on. It's brilliant, and I love that it's yellow flower too. It's beautiful. For me, nature is a very big thing, which I know is ironic because I live in the city, in New York City. But I do find that nature definitely makes me feel calmer, less stress, more at peace, happier overall. One day I have to move to a place that has more access to that for sure. And for now, being close to the park does the trick. Definitely health, of course. I have so many practices every day that keep me in check and that allow me to feel my best. So it's not just a given, right? It's making that choice every day of, I know these few things are gonna lead to me feeling better today and me feeling happy, no matter how much madness is going on in life, and making the choice to dedicate the time to doing those things so that I can feel better. So choosing to be happy every day. For me, that means, exercise, meditation, breathing exercises, gratitude exercises, eating healthy, eating delicious food, dark chocolate in the morning, for sure. And then I would say purpose for sure. I mean, that's represents what I do for a living.
I guess is that also the way that you like to contribute? Because I see indeed the purpose of helping other women and elevating their knowledge is also very strong for you. So would that be what we call the yellow factor outward? How you contribute to happiness, or would you also pick some other one?
Purpose and health, I would say. Yeah, definitely health, because my job is to help people, support people with their health and wellness. But definitely purpose. I definitely believe that when you wake up inspired every day, when you have something that drives you, that's something that supports you with being happier and healthier and feeling your best. And I strongly believe in playtime.
Yeah.
I think, especially in the US, people tend to be workaholics and it's all work. And like, we definitely need to make time every day for play, whatever that means for everyone. But it's very much needed. We cannot just live to work every day and then wake up one day and realize that all we did was work, right? That's where travel comes in. Traveling, all that's play for me.
That makes me also now curious if you know already about laughter yoga. Like, we haven't done any laughter together. I need to get you to laugh together.
You know what? I know about laughter yoga, but I've never tried it, and I've always wanted to try it. I think it's
to come and join me on the weekly laughter Zoom that I do. So I don't know if I ever told you, actually, I do a weekly laughter Zoom where it's free, so you can also join, and I just laugh for 20 minutes together with some exercises. So for me, it's been really the way to bring play into my everyday life, also in the winter, and to make sure that I'm in control of my dose of chemicals. Because you can get really good dose of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin just with a big 10 minutes laughter exercise. So we've got to.
Oh my God, I have to do it. So please send me the link, because I really been wanting to try for a while. And if it's virtual, then it's that much easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's fully virtual, so we can do that together. So we are already, like, the time has been running, so we are the last round of questions. So bit fire type of question. Is there a book that changed your life, and which one that is?
Let's see, that's a good question. I love reading about relationships, and it's very much connected to what I do for work too, because I also do support clients with their relationships, because it's highly connected to health and well-being. I love the Love Languages. That book for me was everything.
That's a brilliant one.
Yeah, I studied that when I studied integrative nutrition and health, but then reading the book, and I must say there's one that is for children as well, that I highly recommend for parents.
Oh, you know how it's called? Just Love Languages for Kids?
Yeah, so if you go to Amazon and
we'll look it up.
Love Languages, all of them, there are many different editions. There's the ones that is for adult relationship, and there's one for kids, which I would say it's highly highly needed, right? Because if we can fulfill our children, I don't have children yet, but one day, with making them feel loved, right? And the way that we make them feel loved is speaking in their love language. If children feel loved, they feel healthier, they can grow to be good members of society.
And it's a great insight, because I remember, I haven't read the book yet, but I learned about the four languages. And I remember that I realized at that moment how my parents always showed me love with act of services, while I would have liked to have it more towards of appreciation.
Exactly.
And that really shows you, oh yeah, but that doesn't mean they don't love me. It just means that they show it in a different way. But unless you know those different love languages, you just think, yeah, you feel not loved. And it's like,
exactly. So if you can learn to love your children like they want to be loved, imagine how much of a difference that can make. So that for sure. I also love the book Attached.
I don't know.
It's about relationships and understanding our different attachments to our primary caregiver when we're children, and then to our boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever it is. And basically how we attach from the very beginning and how that evolves as we grow older, and how you can actually change your attachment through obviously a lot of work, therapy, and effort. But I definitely recommend that one as well. It can be a game changer for relationships and just your own understanding too.
Nice. We'll add all the details to the notes. And then the very pre-final question: what is the golden nuggets that you would like to share with the audience?
Golden nuggets. What do you mean by that?
Probably it's more used in Europe as a special. Like, what is your final tip? Your golden, your golden tip.
Golden tip.
You shared already a lot of tips, but maybe the one final one. If they would change one thing, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say, especially these days, to focus on gratitude, and it's something that really requires that like shift of mindset every day. But it's something that leads to people being happier. So it can rewire your brain to focus on more positivity. Because unfortunately, for survival purposes, our brain is designed to focus on what's wrong, right? Because then it can address what's wrong and ensure survival. Like if we have pain or we're cold or we're hungry, it like just focuses on that so that it can take care of it and then we stay alive. But that can really interfere with our happiness, especially these days where there's like so much negativity to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so when we ask our brain to focus on what we're grateful for, and we give it that order, right? Like bring me 3 things to be grateful for today. It teaches our brain another path, right? The path to positivity. And the more we do that every day consistently, the easier it will be for our brain to see that other path can be taken consistently, and we can see the world in a more positive light and in a happier way.
Exactly. You learn to recognize it, so you're going to see even more in your days things to be grateful for. But also, I know from the science of happiness, what happens when we recall moments of gratitude, it is just like living them again. So you're actually in the language that we were using before of the food, it's like we're feeding that moment to our brain over and over again. So that's really
and you're able to kind of have that awareness, right? Because like, most of the days we go on without recognizing that having electricity or having heat or food or clean water to drink or someone that loves us, all of those things are things to be grateful for. So it's really recognizing not just the big things, but also all those small things, and letting that, like you said, nourish us and just allow us to kind of feel better that day about what we have and not just so focused on what we don't have in the moment.
Nice, thank you. So if people want to find out more, reach out to you, want to know more about My Care Village, where can they find you? Where can they reach you?
Well, with regards to My Care Village, they can go to mycarevillage.org. With regards to me, they can go to Sandrina Bencomo. That's on Instagram. From there, I have on my bio all my other accounts. So Organic Love is my wellness account. And then My Care Village is the wellness-focused nonprofit organization that I just talked about.
Thank you so much, Sandrina. Like, we could go on and on and on chatting, but we want to try and keep them in the 30-35 minutes so for people to make it digestible as well. So thank you so much for being with us today. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. And I'm going to do then the closure, unless you want to say anything else to wrap it up. Or...
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. And it's really refreshing to talk about, happiness and what we can do to help people get there for 30 minutes. I love that. So thank you for that.
Yes, our common,
just from talking about it.
Our common passion. So that, yeah. Thank you so much for being with us today. And that was the Happiness Contribution Show, which is available on YouTube as webcast and also on your favorite channels as podcast. If you like the show, we would appreciate if you share it with one person who may benefit from hearing it too. And you can subscribe to our channel or tune in for the next episode. You can also find all the episodes and discover more business happiness contribution tips on our website, www.happinesscontribution.com. That's all for today. Stay happy and healthy and make sure to nurture your happiness. Bye!